Hi, how's it? And welcome to our podcast about bridging global cultures, celebrating the good, the bad, milestones, and growing together.
Nailed it.
I think we've got that down. We're basically professional
We are
podcasters
professional.
now. Today's episode is all about the role of women in society. So
Yes.
very light-hearted, as you can imagine.
Super light-hearted. I mean, the fact of the matter is they've had two guests, right? They've had the boys, Higher Oak.
Yeah,
We've had the wonderful Chevy on.
we have.
And now we're going back to basics.
Exactly.
Talking about light-hearted topics.
This is basically a small invitation into my brain. This is what happens in my brain all the time. Like, I can't shut it up. I think the thing about the role of women in society is that it could probably be 20 podcast episodes.
Yeah.
We could have a podcast series where we just talk about this sort of
The
thing.
role of women. I don't know how many people would listen.
No, I don't.
That's
I don't know what the
that is
market
reality. I don't know what
is.
the market is. No, I agree.
But I do know I've got a lot to say about it.
I'm excited. I am excited. When I was reading what did you call it? Not the cliff notes. The run.
The run sheet.
The run sheet. I'm like, mental note, like, I'm gonna ask Taryn about that. Like, some of the things, I think I can be a bit, like, stick my head in the sand with a lot of these things. So I'm interested to ask you a couple of questions.
Yeah, well, I'm always open to lively debate. but yeah, the point is we're really just scratching the surface. It's more of an introduction than anything else.
Yeah, agreed. I think when we obviously spoke about putting this together, I was thinking, and I was like, I don't really know what my viewpoint is.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I was kind of like, oh, this is quite a tough one. I'm a woman and I've held various roles, but like, what is my actual view of women in society?
Exactly.
And then that also made me start thinking, okay, I kind of started forming a bit of a view, which I'm sure will change, but also how much has changed, how much that viewpoint of women in society has actually changed a lot as well.
Exactly. And I think that's the really cool thing about this topic is I think for both of us, even though we've got lots of views, when somebody actually asks you, what is it?
It's actually so difficult to articulate. I was
Exactly.
like, I don't know how I'm going to say that. So before we get into our super light topic, woo, okay, highs and lows.
Yeah, so high
Yeah.
is we went on a lovely girls' weekend.
Oh, it was so much fun.
It was so lovely.
It was
We
so
went
good.
to the Forest of Dean,
Yes.
which is beautiful. It's right by the border of Wales. And it was just so wonderful. We went for beautiful walks in the morning.
Hot tub.
Hot tub.
Ate the most amazing food.
Yeah.
Taryn's carbonara. Will
And-
still go down as history as the best carbonara I've had. And we've been to Italy twice. I've been to
That
Italy
is true.
twice.
And Cara made incredible turkey burgers. Like, I'm going to copy your turkey patties.
Good recipe.
Oh my
It's a
goodness.
really, really good recipe and healthy.
Yeah, exactly.
And
it's
it doesn't
like-
really taste that. It kind of has like a bit of a takeaway edge to it.
Yeah, so this weekend we are having turkey burgers
Nice.
with mushrooms because we're trying to be,
Healthy.
well, not healthy, it's just, living with a diabetic,
True.
low carb life. So yes, that's my high. My low is, you might still hear it a little bit in my voice. I think I'm a lot better than I was, but I've now had my fourth cold/flu in
Ridiculous.
5 months. So yeah,
Did you manage to get antibiotics?
I did. A miracle happened. And I went to the doctor and I actually got antibiotics. She literally looked at me and was like, yeah, maybe given that it's the fourth time, we can maybe give you antibiotics.
No shit, Sherlock.
So I was trying to play it very cool. And I was
Were
like,
you?
yeah.
You weren't like, yes, give me the drugs.
No. I was like acting cool. Like, yeah, if you think that's best.
If that's the best treatment for me, I'm in agreement.
Exactly.
Well, it's so funny you say that because that kind of leads into my low. So my high as well is very similar to the girls' weekend. We just had the most incredible time. I love going on these girls' weekends where you can do you and like nothing's expected of you, and there's no like, oh well, we all have to go do this, and naturally you spend so much time together. But it was also so nice on the one day you went for a nap.
Yeah.
I closed my eyes for 10 minutes, my equivalent of a nap. Read my book. And it was lovely. It really was such a great weekend. And then my low is actually the NHS. So a very dear friend of ours has just gone through quite a horrific experience with the NHS, and I think something that is quite frightening in a first world country, how you literally need to be dying in order for them to take you seriously. And there's a lot of factors, which we're not a political pod, so we're not going to go into it, but it's just really highlighted the inadequacies of the NHS. However, I will say she got the most incredible care when she was finally in hospital.
In the system, yeah.
But the point that she had to get to was just horrific. And subsequent visits back. I think the NHS is amazing, but it has been taken advantage of by a lot of people. And I think will lead to its downfall. So something has to change, unfortunately.
Yeah, I agree completely.
But they did, like I said, they gave her the most amazing care, but it's quite scary, I think, to be living here, and I'm concerned, like, one day if I get really sick, like, how far do I actually need to go before they take me seriously?
Yeah, exactly. It is a tricky one, obviously, because we have a very South African viewpoint on this, but actually we've got a viewpoint of the privileged few in South Africa. So it's not the general way of things. There is obviously public healthcare system in South Africa, and it is challenged, just like this healthcare system.
But that's the thing, we can only come from, we sat and paid however many thousand rands to be on medical aid, and a lot of people can't afford that, but it was like one of those things, you always need to make sure you have a minimum hospital plan or medical aid.
Yeah.
So we could walk into a private hospital and get some of the best care. It's just, I think that's what's quite jarring. You've never been in the public healthcare system, and I was like, oh fuck, I'm in the public healthcare system. But yeah, that is a whole nother topic, and like I said, firstly, I'm not English, so like I don't really feel like I have a lot of legs to stand on.
Yeah.
But yeah, also I don't want to get political, so yeah, that's my low.
Fair enough. What's been living rent-free?
Rent-free, okay. So still Taylor Swift's album. I don't know about you, but I'm still listening to it like constantly.
It's literally on like a track in my brain. This morning I was singing with the Life of a Showgirl. Out of nowhere.
Every day I'm singing a new song. Have your favourites changed at all since she's released it?
I think I've just doubled down on a few. So
same.
Life of the Showgirl for me is incredible. So that is why it has sort of gone on this loop. Yeah, that's my favourite song.
Okay, mine are still the same, but you know something else is really growing on me is Ruin the Friendship.
Oh, I liked Ruin the Friendship.
Oh no, it's like completely grown on me. And Father Figures.
Oh yeah, I don't know about that.
Oh no, okay, so very quickly before we get into yours, they, and when I say they,
the Taylor Swift verse.
TikTok tells me that potentially could be about Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, interesting.
And Cancelled is actually about Sophie Turner.
Yeah, I did see something about Sophie Turner being about this Cancelled being about Sophie Turner
when she was going through divorce with Joe Jonas. So yeah, somebody's put on that potentially Father Figure could be about Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds obviously has a gin brand. I drank the brown liquor, talking about alcohol, kind of almost when there's still all that Blake Lively, sort of Justin Baldoni stuff going on, and how he tried to kind of get Taylor Swift roped in because she was obviously dispositioned. So yeah, it's anyway, still rent free.
Depositioned is the word.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. I'd rather you say it than every somebody comments like, you didn't say the right word, Cara. And that would happen, or somebody would call me out.
Yeah.
What did I say?
Disposition.
Oh, you see, I'm thinking of work.
Let's disposition some candidates, shall we?
Literally, you laugh. I mean, we all know what system we use. We're not going to give them any more
time than they
need. And then the other one is, I went to go get my second nails done.
Yes, you did.
I did. Yeah, I've been thinking about it for ages.
They're so pretty. I love them.
Yeah, they're cute. Hey?
How's it feeling?
Actually fun.
That's good.
Yeah, I've been training them, I've got my stuff. It's really cool.
Yeah. It's not as bad as doing cartilage, so.
No, I mean, I can still feel my cartilage run up here when I was like a cool kid. But I'm thinking, so you know what I have noticed as well is some people only do, because the lady that pierced it, I just went to accessorize. Great experience. She was lovely, and she's like only one year will go. So I think it's quite like in fashion to
you
do
just do like an extra one.
So I might just go get like a third.
Oh, why not? Yeah.
Look at me.
Well, I need to go get my ears pierced anyway, so we might as well go together.
This Accessorize here in Richmond, they were so nice. Like,
I don't think they can do the piercing I want.
no, they won't be able to do here. They only have a gun.
Yeah.
You need to go if you're gonna.
I need
a
a-
one.
yeah, I need a
I wouldn't
needle.
do that with gun. But this was like
Easy
So,
peasy. Nice.
me.
That's great.
Yeah.
Very pretty. I love them.
Thank you. John didn't even notice it. I had him done on Friday after work when he was out at a show. So I don't know if you've seen this whole thing on WhatsApp. You can do video notes.
Yes.
I love
I'm very
them.
confused about them, but
I love them. So anyway, I was sitting on the couch and he was like, "Oh, I've just got to Wembley, etc., etc." So I was like, "Oh, okay, Basil, I'm on the couch. I'm with Andy," and I'm like, "Look, I got my ears pierced." The next morning, I'm like, "Why didn't you say anything?" He's like, "Oh, I didn't really notice." I was like, "I literally told you on the phone
On
that
the
I got my
phone.
earbuds, and you can see." Oh, those look nice. I was like, thanks.
Well, it is like, it's just so natural.
Yeah,
You've
it's
done
like so natural,
nicely
yeah,
that it just
exactly.
sort of
So we're
fits in.
all the
And
time,
I like
yeah.
the little diamante. It's very cute. Living Rent Free in My Head was a recommendation from you, and I think you've actually spoken about it before. But it was Flesh and Code.
Yes.
I
Yes.
carried on listening to it. And it's, I mean, the story itself is wild.
Yeah.
So basically it's about a company called Replica where you can create a companion, a chatbot AI companion. And it's the story of these people creating these companions and using them in different ways, obviously, as you do
Yeah.
potentially on the internet, use things. But yeah, exactly. It's a world of its own. But what I found really, really fascinating actually is, I think it's episode 7, and it's all about somebody called Daniel Todd. And it's all, and like, even if you don't listen to all of Flesh and Code, because there's quite a few episodes of it, and we'll link it, but that was really specific about AI and the pitfalls of large language models and the way that large language models are working and learning, and how AI hallucinates and creates
information.
it creates information. Exactly. So not like what I think a lot of people don't realize is that AI has already used up all the data.
Yes, that was scary.
Exactly.
And it's creating new data.
So it's creating new data. And there's also sample, is it sample? No, it's, I don't know, system collapse, or I don't know, whatever it's called.
Yeah, I don't.
It's really, really good though. And I think it's just another important reminder of us having to understand these things.
We have to understand them.
And then also make sure that we learn alongside these sorts of things in AI, and how to implement and how to live a world alongside AI.
Yeah, I mean, when she was here, we had a long chat over dinner, me, her, and John, about AI and where it's going and how frightening it actually is. But it was quite weird because something we all kind of came back to was there will always still be a need, and while we're advancing as quickly as well, I fully believe that there will be a time where that human touch element is going to be so craved and wanted that we're almost going to regress.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, not completely regress, but we will go back to the small things, people coming into offices. You know
Exactly,
what I mean? Like,
yeah.
it's
That
the world
human touch.
that people are missing that human touch. I mean, what the world leaders are doing with AI, that probably frightens me even more. But
Oh yes.
will we ever know?
No.
We won't
Well,
ever know.
yeah, I think
Mo
there's lots of smart people.
Gawat is also really good. Like, he's a really good AI follower. He worked for Google for years, and he actually left when Google was creating Gemini. He's like, I don't want.
To be part of
He's
this.
like, I don't want to be part of this. So we'll link his He's done a couple of podcasts. And he's
Yeah,
really good.
that's a
He's
good
really
idea. Yeah, I like that a lot. Right, should we get into
Oh,
the light-hearted topic?
Light-hearted. Woohoo! No,
To be fair, I do
like-
think we're keeping it quite
No,
light-hearted.
we generally do keep things
Exactly.
quite light-hearted.
So what is that immediate response that you have to what is the role of women in society?
Well, like I said to you, I had to think about it. I was very much like, oh, I've really got to think and like sit and like, how do I feel, what the perception is, what do I think the perception is? And I was actually just quite overwhelmed. I'm like, it's so overwhelming because, and we'll get into it, you know, with as you discussed, but I think as a woman, you are almost expected to do everything, know everything, be everything. have a good career, but don't work too hard because you need to take care of the kids and you need to take care of the husband. Lose weight, but don't lose too weight, then you're going to be too skinny, or you know what I mean? So there's like, I can't put my finger on what the role is. I think growing up, I would always be like, woman is the caretaker, but then obviously as time goes on, it's like, well, no, women can be quite independent of that family role. And then you've also got other elements to it as well. You've also got the friendship piece to it, the sister. So overwhelming is my underarching.
Fair enough.
Overarching. I'm doing really well with my words today. Really well. What was yours?
I agree. So I thought the question was actually quite jarring in a weird way. So people often talk about the role of women in society, but at no point do you be asked what is the role of women in society. And I think we also live in a world where everything at the moment is so extreme and polarized.
Absolutely.
So I sort of feel like we've got this one view of women, which is the trad wife.
Which is back in fashion.
Exactly. But having said that, it's also quite elitist and privileged, like this view of this trad wife that is obviously the mother that stays home with the children, but it's more than that.
Ingredient household.
Exactly.
Grows her vegetables and she bakes the bread.
Exactly. But also looks beautiful doing it and lives in this beautiful home. And also her house is always perfectly clean and only natural ingredients in all the cleaning products that she probably makes herself.
Yeah.
And it's just the most extreme view of anybody, really, I think, or any life in general. So it's a lot to do with woman's role from that perspective, but also like clean culture and toxicity and all of that sort of thing. And then you've got the other extreme of like the manosphere.
Well, that's actually what I wanted to ask you to kind of explain to me, like what you mean when you were like saying like what does that mean?
What is the manosphere?
Yeah, like what is the manosphere?
So the manosphere is basically a whole sector of society that believes in men being the alpha, whatever the alpha means. Like in their view, alpha, it's like a pack mentality, and then they must be the alpha of those. I mean, 100% manosphere. Andrew Tate, I would even argue Joe Rogan to some extent. And there are so many out there, and their views are basically that women are there for sex and raising babies.
To serve them.
Yeah, and complete serve. Yeah, exactly. Okay. They can have multiple partners because they're the alpha, but their wives or girlfriends can't, because that's like body count is a big thing for them. Like they're very concerned with body counts.
Have I told you, because you know there's a documentary.
Oh no.
Andrew Tate documentary on All Four.
Oh jeez.
I know. I mean, watch it, is jarring, but that you just mentioned that body count, that is a big thing, because he holds these seminars, right?
Yeah.
And guys go to them.
Exactly.
And it's quite frightening how he puts us, like you say, like women are there to have kids, serve you. You know, if you get home from work and your wife doesn't want to, whatever the case is, then there's something wrong with her. You need to punish her, and she needs to be punished, and she needs to learn.
Yeah, exactly.
And she mustn't have slept with too many people, because that means she's trash.
Yeah. And also silly. Like women's pleasure is not okay.
That's
like
not okay. Then
it's like, this is literally like how they would put it, is like it's gay to like make your wife orgasm, because like she doesn't get that, like only you get to experience pleasure. Like this is how wild and extreme the manosphere is. And I don't think you can talk about the role of women in society without talking about the manosphere. Jeez. So this is what people, and specifically young boys, are being exposed to online, which then furthers the whole trad wife kind of narrative.
Kind of pushes that forward.
Exactly. So long story short, it's very terrifying when you think about those extremes. But then you also have the other extremes of people sort of erasing both the role of woman and men, and the differences and the value that we bring to society.
Just something quite interesting. Would you say that there's a link Because I think there's a big difference between somebody in the manosphere and also somebody with traditional value.
I think it's a good question.
Do you know what I mean? Because you think of the traditional role of a woman, right? You think of a nuclear family, standard, mom, dad, 2 kids. The man is a breadwinner. The woman might work. If she does work, her career is not really that important.
Yeah.
Her importance is to look after the kids
and like raise this family and
serve. So it's almost like it seems like the manosphere is just like an enhanced version.
Yes, like to be fair, I wouldn't say that most people are living a manosphere life at all, but unfortunately that's it. I was talking about the extremes, just like most of us are not trad wives, like
yeah. We're kind of in the middle.
Exactly. I think the more concerning part of both of those sort of arms of the story is that they're gaining a lot of traction online, and so especially on the manosphere side, if like there've been people that have looked into it and created like fake profiles of like a 14-year-old boy and on TikTok, and it won't be that they won't put anything on that, but because the profile is like 14 boy, within 15 minutes or so they're starting to get pushed content that is manosphere like, and then obviously the algorithm is so strong, so
the minute you send a video for like more than 10 seconds, that's just gonna like,
and then it takes over your algorithm, and then unfortunately also takes over your views. So you really need to be so aware of these things, and aware, we've spoken about being aware of your algorithm, right, and forcing it to be nice to you and like showing you cooking videos.
That's my world.
Exactly.
It's wonderful.
So yeah, it's a wild world out there.
Yeah, it's not as black and white, because you think it's quite a simple question, but it's actually not.
No, and I think it also means different things to different people, sure. And that's also okay.
Totally, 100%. Have you seen in your lifetime, and I mean, we all know you are still a baby, have you seen a role of woman evolve in your lifetime?
I mean, I just think about the recent history of my family. Like my gran, who she worked at some parts of her life. Yeah. She didn't work all the time, but it was very much like it was very like, not menial, but like small jobs, or like receptionist or admin clerk or anything like that. And then she would make sure that dinner is on the table by 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. or whatever when my grandfather got home from work, and her primary role was of course to look after the children and raise the children. Yeah. So that was very, very like and I use the word traditional very lightly because I've got a whole viewpoint on what is traditional, right?
Yeah, what is traditional and what isn't. But I think normal in the time that they grew up.
Exactly. Yeah. And then you sort of go to like my mom, who is somebody who worked her whole life. I think she only took a couple of years off when my brother was born, if it was even a couple of years. I don't think it was that long. And then she's been working her whole life, and it was really interesting when I was sort of thinking this through. I was like, well, she was a career woman, but what a strange thing to say, that somebody is a career woman. You never say a career man. He's a career man.
Yeah, you never say no, but because it's assumed.
Exactly.
It's just assumed that the man is going to go out and make money and be the breadwinner.
But it also has like a negative connotation to it, I feel. If you say career woman, it's almost like, okay, well, she chose her career over her children, which she certainly didn't at any point.
But you just hit a nail on the head. Why do women have to choose?
Well, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like but we unfortunately as women do have to choose, because inevitably.
Yep.
Yeah, is that right? If you choose the one over the I remember having conversations with people, and it's like, oh, she could have done so well. She was so clever. She had a kid and decided to do teaching instead. And it's like, well, why? She didn't. She chose what she wanted to do.
Exactly.
She didn't choose her kids over a career. That's what she wanted to do ultimately.
Yeah. And I think that's also a really good point you're sort of making, is like it's also different careers have more value.
Oh, totally.
So it's toxic cycle. How do you feel like things have evolved?
So very, very similar to you. So also I use the word traditional, in a light way. Very much, my grandfather was a farmer. My gran had 5 children. You know, she was at home, she looked after them. She always did her baking and her cooking on the side, so she always worked, but that was her passion. But it was very much, you know, I even remember growing up and going there for school holidays, which was such a joy. When my grandfather used to come home, and it was like, okay, grandfather's coming home, table needs to be set for lunch, because lunch was the main meal. Lunch was set, the plates were out, everything, and then it's at night. He would get poured a drink, do you want a drink? And I'm looking after my husband, and that then subsequently sort of filters down as well into other family. It's like, oh, why aren't you dishing up food for your partner? It's like, well, no, they've got hands and they can dish up themselves. You know, there's been a couple of times, and I don't really care, but it's like, oh no, well, shame. Johnny's had such a, I'm using Johnny as an example, but it'd be like, oh, he's had such a hard day at work. Don't you want to go pour him a drink? Go look after. No, he can look after himself. Like, he's a grown adult. I then also, so that's kind of how I grew up. But then I subsequently, in the early stages of my career, that was when like the boss bitch era. It was like the hardcore boss bitch. Like, we're gonna wear our stilettos and I'll pick pencil skirt to the club. It's well sometime. Obviously the club wear. And then I saw that, right, where it was like women fought in the workplace, and we were fighting to be recognised. But then, funny enough, we're kind of seeing it go back to that traditional, you know, time where, well, this whole trad wife has obviously become quite a phase as well. So I think I've seen it evolve quite a bit. I was very fortunate in the sense that, you know, I grew up where I could do anything, and there was no expectation. My mom worked her whole life. She had to work, which was good because it also taught me a bit of independence. Like, okay, cool, my mom can work and she can still take care of the home and take care of my dad. But can you imagine my mom being like, oh, shame, love, have you had a hard day at work? Like, like, here's a drink. Like, no, like, get on with it, sort of thing. So I think I've been very lucky in that sense, that I've always been taught that as women, I can do multiple things, you know, which
and you've seen that model, which is really important.
I've seen that model, and I lived in that model, but just thinking of the dishing up food thing, that kills me, eh?
Well, it literally is. Like, my dad would have come home from work because he always got home early, living his best life.
Also used to get home so early. I'd be like, no, it's nobody needs it. I'm like, yeah, corporate life. I get it. Dad, I get it. I get it. That corporate life.
Yeah, exactly. So he'd come home, and then my mom would come home like an hour or two later. He's been sitting on the couch for ages watching telly, and then my grandma would be like, oh, I think you should make him a cup of coffee.
No.
And I was like, I also worked a day. Like, can he not make his own cup of coffee?
And I love my mom's face, but she does it when she comes to visits. She honestly, I'm not even, and I know, and it comes from like she just wants to, you know, she's just helping, and she does it for me as well.
She does it. My mom. She
doesn't just do it for Johnny, but she'll say to me, like, Johnny, when are you done with work? I'll get you a beer, or like 4 o'clock, or like 3-4 o'clock. It's like, Johnny, oh, you've been working so hard. Do you want a cup of tea and like a treat? Like, Mom, he's an adult. Like, he can do this and that. No, shame. He's been working so hard.
He's working so hard. I think the difference with my mom when she comes, it's like, oh, is it time for a wine yet?
Oh no, we get the tea, and then at like 5 o'clock. So you finished work?
Yeah, you finished work.
Is it wine time? Yes, Mom, it's wine time.
Just clock watching so we can be done with work.
Done with work.
Oh, that's so brilliant. What barriers do you think that we still face as women in society?
And this is probably be a bit contentious. I think women will still always be seen to be too emotional to make big decisions, to be in big
important.
I do still think that it is seen negatively from a woman's perspective. I think also women, unfortunately, who have children are sometimes seen a bit negatively. It's like they're going to have to choose or what's more important. Are they going to be able to make that late meeting? Can they do that? Or how much time are they actually going to be at work because they're going to be picking their kids up, vice versa. I think ironically, because we're seen as being emotional, as women we actually regulate our emotions a lot better.
Exactly.
Whereas men don't.
Yeah, all those temper tantrums.
All those little temper tantrums that they have.
It's very emotional.
Very emotional. I think still to this day, men get paid more than women.
They do. Statistically speaking, they do. The gender pay gap.
And there is a massive gender pay gap. I've experienced a gender pay gap. I see it all the time. I don't know how we're going to change that. I don't think we ever can change that. And I think as women, there is still that constant need to prove yourself. You always seem to be, if you are in a meeting or if you're in a group of people, it's always like you need to be assertive and you need to not be a wallflower.
But you can't be too assertive
But you can't be too
either.
assertive because then it's like you're pushy.
Yeah.
So I do still think we have made strides, but I still think the reality is, in a corporate setting, which is probably a whole nother topic, we as women are still very much second. We are second to the men.
Yeah. And I think that leads me into exactly what I wanted to talk about, which is the value of women's time. And I think that is really how simple it is. And I think I want to be very careful about the idea that, like, when I talk about trad wives, okay, I've got a fundamental problem with trad wives as a concept.
Yeah.
Because it's very extreme, it's very elitist, and it's very privileged.
Agreed.
It's
those
not...
people that are trad wives actually have husbands that are earning shit tons of cash.
And they're making loads of money off of Instagram and stuff like that. So they're actually given this trad wife viewpoint when they're actually businesswomen.
Yeah.
Totally. So it's like they're selling something that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So I have a real problem with that. But I don't have a problem with women or men choosing to stay at home or working or doing whatever you want. And I think that is the barrier. The barrier is that women's time is not valued.
Yes. Nail on the head.
But I think more than that, because we don't value women's role in society and we don't value the time that women spend. So being a stay-at-home mom gives you zero value in society. But
That's
you've actually
wild.
child rearing and the amount of time and energy that goes in. In fact, lots of people are paid to do it. It's called nursery schools.
And an au pair.
And an au pair, exactly. But why is it that you wouldn't pay a woman for that? And then you end up in, or a mother, sorry, not a woman, because you would pay another woman potentially. And then we end up in a world where you talk about the gender pay gap. What about the pension pay gap? Because during those years, women are not contributing to their pensions necessarily. And so then when
they were allowed to have pensions, maybe.
Well, not necessarily, but nowadays, even if you take an extended period of time off to look after your children, you're not contributing to a pension. If you're not contributing to a pension, you're going to get less when you're old.
Well, yeah, of course, obviously.
So it compounds over and over again. The value of women's time is eroded.
So there's somebody actually on TikTok who pops up sometimes in my algorithm feed when I'm watching what I eat in a day and whatever. And her husband has to pay her to make her lunch. So she gets paid. She gets paid £10 a day to make his lunch.
There we go.
No, and she, they have obviously have a budget for groceries, whatever, but she physically gets paid. And I was like, yes, girl. She literally said, she's like, it's my
labor.
time. It's labor. Like, he's either going to pay me to make his lunch and it'll be delicious, or he's going to go pay £10 and get a meal deal. So why not pay me?
Exactly.
And I couldn't agree more with it. But I think you've actually just like hit the nail on the head. Women's time is not valued.
Yeah.
It's
and
just
I think
not
that's
valued.
the biggest barrier that we face.
How's your view of your role as a woman change? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay.
I think it continues to evolve.
Okay.
And I say that because also the things I want out of life continue to evolve.
100,
and so my role is going to change. And I think that something that I always sort of took for granted was when I was younger was that I'd have children. So one of the roles that I would have had as a woman is to be a mother. Well, that's not necessarily true for my future.
You don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, it may or may not look like that.
So interesting.
And then, okay, well then maybe that would take more of my time and it would be more of my identity during those periods. Or it might be not. But I think what I really hope it continues to evolve, I'm looking forward now, and I know this is not the question, but is that my identity is never defined by other things. Yeah. But rather by myself.
Agreed. And I think you've almost taken the words out of my mouth. That's very much when I was in South Africa, it was very, even before we were in Cape Town, probably in Joburg as well, it was like boss bitch, career, work hard, play hard. Chevy, we're looking at you. Very much work hard, play hard, but at the same time, make sure I'm looking after my man, sort of thing. And if you're not working crazy hours, and if you're not constantly on your phone, like, where's the next deal sort of thing, then it's like, you're not a career woman. And I think that at a stage was very much what my identity just became, or what kind of people almost not led me to feel this, but it was very much like, oh no, that is Kari, that is her identity. She's like this hardcore work,
Yeah.
And then if I like think back, and I know we've had this conversation a couple of times, and I kind of like think to myself, I'm like, I don't know if that's me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that's me. I'm still trying to figure out what my role is. I can't say I have a role. Myself and John have actively decided not to have kids, and that's been a very active decision. So I know, that mother role is never in my future.
You're Andy's mom.
But yeah, I'm Andy's mom. Yeah, I don't know, but my view has changed. My view's definitely changed to where I was all those years, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago,
Exactly.
to where it is now. I'm still trying to figure it out.
What changes in society would you like to see in the view of women?
Look, I'm not even gonna. I think opening up the conversation to the manosphere, like, that's a whole nother thing. So I just think I'm gonna say this from like a woman to woman perspective.
Yes.
I think there seems to be a lot of competition.
Yes.
Around women, and I do still think that women are judging other women if they decide to be a stay-at-home mom, if they decide to be a teacher and they smash their degree and got a PhD, if they decide not to have kids and they're going to be a career. We have so many forces against us. We don't need each other.
To be against each other.
Yeah,
I agree completely.
And comparison is a thief of joy at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I think we need to stop comparing ourselves to others.
Yeah.
Especially from a woman perspective.
And I think we can almost be quite harsh on other women.
We can be really judgmental and really harsh, and I'll put my hand up. I do. I try my hardest not to, but I do. I see something someone, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to judge you so hard. But then I sit back and I think, you know what? Like, no. They are living their decisions. I didn't make their decisions.
Exactly.
But that judgment piece is really, really hard.
Yeah.
And I think it happens more and more. But I think if you're aware of it, you'll hopefully stop yourself doing. But that's...
Yeah, I agree. I think my view of like the role of women obviously is going to evolve and is going to change. But unfortunately, we live in a capitalist neoliberal society and the patriarchy doesn't benefit anybody.
No. Unless...
Well, no.
No, it actually doesn't.
So,
it actually doesn't.
Exactly. So it doesn't benefit men as much as it doesn't benefit women, because...
It doesn't benefit anyone.
No, because men have this like such a narrow little world that they can be whilst they're seen as woman-like, which is considered weak.
Yeah.
And then women can only be these things.
Otherwise you're considered not a woman and not feminine. And
exactly.
I get that.
But we must be weak, so it's all very confusing and contradictory, and I don't really understand the expectations of society of me.
Yeah, but also, you also actually sometimes think like for a man, and this is what we're obviously talking about, but that can also be quite debilitating. Like you have to be strong, you have to be the breadwinner. You have
to be the man of the house.
Be the man, don't show those emotions. But still talk about your feelings. Well,
no, but don't talk about your feelings. Definitely don't cry.
Because you don't want to, because the woman's is a softer side. Don't explore the femininity. So
exactly,
femininity, very much the emotional side. So yeah, you're actually right. It's very limiting. Like
it's limiting, and that is what I hope to see change is the limiting way of our society. Like, don't limit yourself to anything. Yeah. You can be whoever you want to be, and
just be free.
Lean into your femininity or your masculinity or whatever it is. Like, it doesn't define who you are. And then the last thing I will say is that from a competitions perspective, I think you're bang on. Like, we compete with each other
all the time,
and we also, like, we don't always, obviously because of internalized misogyny, we don't always support other women.
Yeah, we don't.
And it's because it's so ingrained in our brains, right? So ingrained in society. And the extreme viewpoint, of course, is the likes of like J.K. Rowling, who believe that trans women don't deserve a place in the world because they're taking up women's space. And
but it's like,
I think
space.
There's enough space, exactly.
There's enough space for everyone.
So it is a whole world on its own, but
we're gonna have to do part 2, baby. I feel like we can carry on going with some people might have dropped off by now.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I got quite technical.
No.
I mean, I could get more technical, but I'm going to stop right there.
We're going to leave it for
I'm
part
going
two.
to leave it for
We're
part
gonna leave it
two.
for part
Hopefully
two.
somebody will come back to
Listen
hear
to
this.
us.
But let's value women's time, and let's also not limit ourselves.
Value women's time, not limit ourselves.
And stop competing.
Stop competing and stop judging.
Yes. Isn't that just like a recipe for life?
That's literally a recipe for life. And you know what? One last thing. I will say that it's an actual thought that you have to say to yourself not to judge and not compare. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I was going to say something airy-fairy, but...
No, but you are. You're exactly
Like,
where you're
exactly
supposed
where
to
you're
be.
supposed to be.
And you're exactly who you're supposed to be. So
Exactly.
you don't need to compare yourself to anyone.
Oh, well done.
Welcome to my brain, guys.
Welcome to Taryn's Kid Talk. She is here a week.
It's a rough world out there.
Rough world. Guys, follow, like,
Subscribe.
subscribe. See you later.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.